two major deaths, one that really destroyed our hearts. How did you guys react when you read about those deaths?
Personally, I mean, it was a huge episode. The last two episodes were both huge, enormous. I mean, obviously it was sad because Conor McDonald's an amazing guy and a fantastic actor, and I like to think he took one for the team because, you know, I really feel like they needed something so that dramatic and a huge finale. And unfortunately, you never know what's going to happen. It is TV, but he's not
He is, and he's missed.
and he is missed very much. So it was sad, obviously, to read.
Well, first thing I thought was, I'm glad it's not me.
Oh yeah.
And then after that,
You're like, oh wait, that means I could go at some point.
then after, I thought that. Well, I mean, yeah, and then, you know, it's funny too because I think all of it's about the hero's journey ultimately. You know, this story, and even none of us really saw just how good these writers are. You know what I mean? And just how, you know, and I just, you know, even now interviewing with you guys and listening to the answers, I just discovered that he's not called Green Arrow because he's not Green Arrow yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
First season he was the Hood.
first he's the Hood and the Vigilante, but more importantly, the title of the show is what I'm saying isn't called Green Arrow because he's not Green Arrow. He's not a hero yet. And the first season was about the Vigilante and the Hood, and Tommy's death is part of that process of him becoming a hero. So we all have to mourn his death, but more importantly, await the hero. Right?
There's a time jump for the season 2 premiere, so where are your characters at after the time jump?
You know, I still think for Laurel, she has done some, you know, mourning and grieving, but it's something that it's always going to stay with her. You know, Tommy's death, just as much as her sister, and you know, when her mother came, like, there's a lot that's happened to her, but I feel like she's pretty good at sort of dealing with it and moving forward and trying to always put her best foot forward, no matter what happens with her. And I think you definitely see her take another step in sort of her journey and her evolution, and she becomes a little bit more involved in the criminal aspect of things.
Criminal aspects, very well put, Ms. Cassidy. Yeah, there is a time jump right after the show, and you find Diggle and Felicity obviously dealing with the glaze being disrupted, but also there's Oliver's gone through some things, and Team Arrow has been affected by that. So we have to kind of reel them in a little bit. There's a little bit of that.
Now that CNRI is gone, is Laurel going to be starting a new job?
That's a good question. I don't know exactly how to answer that question without giving anything away. She definitely does take on a role that is a step.
How do we do that?
She definitely continues the way she feels about justice and making sure it is served in the field, you know, in the law and with the law and without the law.
Yeah. Yeah, without giving, I mean, it's tough. You're giving stuff away with that. Good question.
And might we get any backstory of what happened with Diggle and Merlin on that roof after Merlin might have been dead?
No, but you're gonna get some backstory with you know, there are gonna be some bad guys in general. There's a lot of bad guys coming. And in terms of backstory, you're gonna get some backstory with Diggle, with Argus, how Diggle fits into Argus. Argus is one of these places where it's like, you know, in the Marvel universe there's S.H.I.E.L.D. and there's Argus in these universes, right? And they have eyes everywhere. And Diggle has a past. There was already some past people that came out of Argus that affected Diggle's story. So you'll see that in Deadshot. Floyd Lawton will be making. Deadshot is connected to Diggle's past in a very interesting way. They're going to be exploring that. We're not done with Floyd Lawton.
With the vacancy of Dark Archer around, maybe there could be some incentive for Diggle to kind of put on his own little costume and get out there and go after Deadshot.
You know, no.
The dark side.
Diggle does have a little bit of a dark side. I mean, but his dark side is kind of, Diggle's kind of this guy that's very isolated from. He's war weary, and he's seen a lot of death. And I think now he just wants a sense of purpose, and working with Oliver gives him a sense of purpose. But anyway, so no, you're not going to see him put in uniforms, but you are going to see him fight a lot.
Well, he seems like it would be a natural fit for him. He's masqueraded as the Hood a few times.
That's right.
I think he'd want to kind of develop his own persona. It allows him a little more freedom to go out there and do what he wants to do.
It's interesting also that I think Diggle is going to become, right now he's not part of the DC universe and that he doesn't exist in DC lore, but there's going to be some creation of Diggle in the DC comic, which I just found out about. So there you go. We'll find out. Maybe that means something. Who knows? You never count them before they hatch.
Yeah.